So today we have a 2015 car with a mileage of 117,000 kilometers that has a drop of 14.6 for repacking. Now we will evacuate the refrigerant and start dismantling the high voltage battery before replacing the cells. We have 114 cells, so we have unscrewed the battery. We place the dollies for the battery. The battery will rest on the dollies. We raise the car to roll the battery out. Now the battery will gently rest on the dollies and the car is positioned just right. Here's our battery. That's exactly why we raise the car to this height, so that when we lower the battery onto the dollies, we can easily roll it out from under the car. After we roll the battery out, the first thing we do is cover the spot where the refrigerant lines enter. This is why we raised the car to a height that was sufficiently elevated in order to ensure that by lowering the battery onto the stands, it could be very easily rolled out from under the car. After we have carefully rolled out the battery, the first thing we do is close the place where the Freon tubes enter. We'll completely clean the top cover and the entire battery casing from dust, so that no dirt gets inside. Next, we will unscrew the top cover. So we have removed the cover, and we can clearly see 8 modules connected in series. We have dismantled the old cells. Now we need to prepare the tray for installing the new cells. If you remember, as you know, before we had 8 elements, they stood in 2 rows. Now we have new double cells. So the middle part will be right here, and accordingly, it will rest on the studs. We don't need the studs. The studs will all be cut off from this tray now. We're going to focus on installing the cells. Next, we'll sand down all the surfaces where the cover will sit, and then we'll start installing the cells. The next step is to place the central spacers and the side supports, as well as the intermodule spacers, all into the tray. Since our dimensions are a bit different, everything is done using these spacers. So we have installed and secured the jumpers and gaskets. And now we will be placing the module directly into these compartments. The module weighs about 55-60 kilograms. You can do this alone, but I think I'll ask someone to help. Before installing each module, we remove the protective film to make sure there isn't a small stone or sand stuck there. We also wipe everything down here again, because if a small stone gets between the battery pack and the high voltage battery cooling system, it could puncture the radiator. Thanks to the help of a neighbor, we threw 4 elements of the module into the bathroom, and now we will screw them in to start. And then we'll connect the low voltage and high voltage parts. The physical installation of the high voltage battery is complete. The BMS blocks are connected. The high voltage part is connected. We already have everything connected to the car via an extension cord. And now we will conduct a quality check to see how we did everything. Everything here is neat with no contact between the elements, so nothing gets worn out. The frontal part, the high voltage part as well, has gaps everywhere. Nothing is touching anywhere. Everything is connected using the standard connectors. We'll also clean the inside of the cover and then close up the battery. But first, we'll bring the high voltage battery pack into operation. We have a generated code that has already been recorded in the SME through the EOS tester. The casing is assembled and the cover is on, and now we're going to roll it back under the car. Luckily, it rolls easily on wheels. After we installed the battery, secured it, connected the high voltage part, the low voltage part, and the refrigerant tubes, we're refilling the refrigerant in the car. That's all. The cyst is completely green. The car's cap is 39.7. The car drives and starts without a single error.